The officer tightened the cuffs on the black woman's wrists while her court files spilled across the courthouse floor. "You don't get to walk in here and pretend you belong," he snapped as clerks froze behind the glass. She did not shout. She only asked him to read the seal on the folder. Why did he refuse? Why did the captain order everyone to look away? And why did one trembling clerk suddenly reach for the emergency phone? Her purse lay open, a small photo of her daughter, half hidden beneath a badge nobody had noticed. By the time the elevator opened upstairs, the whole building would learn that the woman they dragged past the cameras was not who they thought she was. The red folder slid farther than the others and stopped against the black rubber base of the security desk. Maya Ellison watched it settle there while Officer Adam Reeves held the chain between her wrists. The cuffs were not tight enough to bruise, but the metal had already found the bone. "Leave it," Reeves said. "That folder has to stay flat." He laughed once. "You're worried about paperwork?" Behind the glass, clerks stared without moving. A man in a gray raincoat lifted his phone, then lowered it when Captain Elaine Porter turned. "No recording in a restricted court area," Porter said. "This is the public lobby," he murmured. "Put it away." The phone vanished. The lobby shrank to fluorescent hum, wet shoes on marble, and an elevator bell above them. Cold rain slid to Maya's collar. Reeves pinched one white folder between two fingers. Superior Court intake, probate transfer, emergency calendar. He tossed it down. Anybody can print labels. Maya turned to meet his eyes. "Read the red one. I gave you an instruction. And I gave you the only instruction that matters." Porter's jaw tightened. "Miss Ellison, you are not in a position to instruct my officers." Maya looked at Porter's nameplate. "Captain, that seal identifies a judicial review file. It cannot be delayed, altered, or removed from chain of custody." Reeves tugged the cuffs. "Hear that? Chain of custody." A young clerk behind the glass shifted her weight. Her badge read, "Jordan Vale." She looked at the red folder, then at Maya's hands, then at the stamp half covered by Reeves's boot. "Officer Reeves," Jordan said, "maybe we should call upstairs." Porter did not turn. "Stay at your station." Jordan's mouth closed. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard. The folder's corner was bending under the desk base. Inside were signed emergency motions, sealed complaints, and a memo Samuel would have told Maya to carry in both hands. Never let the paper look scared when the people already are. "Captain," Maya said, "I am asking you to preserve those documents. You are asking for a lot. No, I am asking for less than the law requires." The words landed quietly. Reeves's face changed. He crouched and dragged the red folder from the floor. Its cover scraped against grit, a dry sound that made Maya's fingers curl. "Adam," Porter warned. Reeves held the folder in front of Maya's face. "You want this one?" "Yes." "Then tell me who gave it to you." The elevator opened at the far end of the lobby. No one stepped out. "The court did," she said. Reeves smiled. "That's not a name. It is enough for you to verify. You don't decide what's enough." He turned to Porter. "Secure her until theft of court property is ruled out?" Porter looked past Maya toward the benches, the clerks, and the guard. Then she nodded once. Maya did not move when Reeves took her elbow. She only looked at Jordan. "Please note the time," she said. Jordan swallowed. "Ma'am." "Now." The clerk glanced at the wall clock. 8:17 a.m. Her hand dropped to a yellow sticky note. Reeves pulled Maya toward the side corridor. The cuffs clicked again, louder in the narrow passage. The red folder remained in his hand, tilted downward, one corner bent like a wounded wing. At 6:45 a.m., the phone trembled beside Maya Ellison's coffee cup. She had already buttoned her coat, but she stayed at the kitchen table, watching the screen glow against chipped paint. Rain tapped the window. The coffee had gone bitter and cold. Sealed folders waited in front of her, their red edges making one clean stripe. She answered on the third buzz. "Morning, Nia. You sound halfway out the door. I am still in the kitchen. Your body is. Your mind left before sunrise." In the background, shoes squeaked on a hallway floor, and a woman called for graduates to line up. "What time do they call your name?" Maya asked. 11:30. You said the courthouse thing was short." "It should be." "That is not an answer." Maya reached for the old fountain pen beside the folders. The black barrel was worn where Samuel's thumb used to rest. "I will do everything I can to be there." The kitchen smelled of forgotten toast, paper dust, and Nia's lavender soap. "Mom," Nia said, "is this one of those things Dad would tell you not to carry alone?" "Your father told me many things when he thought I was not listening." "I saved you a seat in the second row," Nia said. Maya looked at the refrigerator. Under a peach-shaped magnet, Nia's invitation had curled at the corners. Across the top, in blue ink, it said, "Mama." "Please come." "I will see it," Maya said. "You promise?" Rain thickened above the back steps. Maya slid the red folder into the center of her leather bag. "I promise I will try with everything I have." Nia exhaled. "Call me before you go in." "I will." "And don't let courthouse people act like you're bothering them. You get that face." "What face?" "The one that says you already know the rule they're pretending to explain." Maya lowered her eyes to the red folder. "That face has saved us money." "Mom?" "I will be careful." After they hung up, the kitchen seemed too large. The refrigerator hummed. A bus hissed outside, then pulled away through wet leaves. Maya tasted the cold coffee and set it down unfinished. On the counter lay a small silver badge case, closed. She did not hang it around her neck. Surprise reviews worked only when people behaved as they did before a title entered the room. She placed it inside an inner pocket, behind Samuel's obituary and Nia's invitation. At 7:03, her assistant called. "Maya, Briar County logged 3 emergency continuances after midnight," Caleb said, "all tied to the housing docket. Names? 2 elderly petitioners and 1 disabled veteran. Same clerk initials on every change." Holt. "That is what it looks like." She opened the red folder. The paper felt cool. "Do not call the courthouse." "I wasn't going to." "You were." "I was thinking loudly." "Think quietly until I confirm receipt." "Maya, you're going alone?" "That is the point. That building is protective of its own." "So am I." She ended the call. In the hallway mirror, she saw a woman in a plain coat, hair pinned low. No robe, no escort, no announcement. At the door, she turned back for Samuel's pen. It had rolled beneath the invitation. She clipped it inside her coat. "Keep the seat warm, Nia." Then she stepped into the rain, with the red folder pressed against her ribs. At 7:52 a.m., Maya stepped beneath the courthouse awning and shook rain from her sleeve. The Briar County Justice Center rose above Main Street in pale stone and glass. People moved toward the entrance with umbrellas and bags of documents. Maya joined the line, the red folder flat inside her bag. A deputy waved 2 attorneys through. When Maya reached the detector, Officer Adam Reeves lifted one hand. "Delivery entrance is around back." Maya placed her bag on the gray mat. "Good morning. I need access to the 3rd floor." Reeves looked at her plain coat, then at the worn handle. Third floor is restricted. Yes. That wasn't an invitation. The air smelled of wet wool and floor cleaner. Rainwater slipped from the corner of Maya's bag and dropped onto the mat, spot after another. I have sealed court materials for Judge Hale's calendar, she said. Couriers sign at receiving. I'm not a courier. A woman behind Maya shifted. Some of us have hearings. Maya moved half a step aside, enough to let the line breathe, not enough to surrender the desk. Verify my credentials upstairs. Reeves gave the line a short smile. Everybody says upstairs when they don't know who downstairs reports to. Behind him, Captain Elaine Porter came from a side office with a paper cup. Her gray hair was pinned tight. What's the delay? She says she needs chambers access, Reeves said. No appointment, no escort, no badge. Maya reached toward her inner pocket. My identification is here. Porter raised 2 fingers. Leave it there. Maya let her hand still. Captain, there are time-sensitive files in this bag. There are time-sensitive people in this line. A few visitors looked down. The detector beeped for a man with keys, but Reeves did not turn. Maya heard the elevator chime beyond the lobby. 3rd floor. The petitioners might already be waiting. At the far corridor, Garrett Holt paused beside the archive door. He was narrow, mid-40s, in a tan suit. A shaving rash marked his neck above a stiff collar. His eyes dropped to Maya's bag, not her face. The bag. For 1 second, his mouth parted. Then he turned into the records hallway. Do you know him? Reeves asked. I know his name. Porter set down her cup. That is not what he asked. Maya met her gaze. Call Judge Hale's chambers. Reeves opened the leather bag without permission. His fingers brushed over the white folders and stopped at the red one. Do not bend that, Maya said. Excuse me? Do not bend it. The line behind her went still. Reeves lifted the folder halfway out. A bead of rain ran from the cover onto the gray mat below. Judicial Review, he read. That's a big label. It is also accurate. Porter stepped closer. Ms. Ellison. People with official business announce themselves properly. People with official duties verify before they obstruct. Reeves's smile disappeared. Porter turned to him. Move her out of the line. Secondary screening. Maya reached for the bag strap. Reeves caught her wrist. Not hard. Not yet. But enough for the woman behind her to gasp. Through the archive door's narrow glass panel, Holt looked back once. When he saw Reeves holding Maya at the checkpoint, he stepped fully out of sight. Reeves guided Maya to the secondary table with 2 fingers on her sleeve, as if the fabric itself were evidence. Bag on the table, he said. It is open. Then you won't mind. The table was cold brushed steel. Maya set the bag down and kept one palm on the red folder. Fluorescent light flashed across the seal. Beyond the checkpoint, a copier coughed. Captain Porter stood beside Reeves. Identification. Maya drew the badge case from her inner pocket. Reeves took it first. Careful with that. He glanced at the front, not long enough to read the second line. Maya Ellison, Judicial Review Commission. His thumb slid over the title. Porter leaned in. Let me see. Reeves held it higher. Could be expired. It is not. You got an answer for everything. I have the documents for everything. Jordan Vale watched through the glass, a headset crooked over one ear. Her screen showed the morning calendar. At 8:30, the top line read, Emergency Housing Relief. Judge Hale. Maya looked past Reeves. Ms. Vale. Jordan stiffened. Please call Chambers and ask for Judge Hale's clerk. Porter turned sharply. She will do no such thing. Jordan's hand hovered above the phone. "Captain," Maya said, "3 petitioners upstairs may lose housing because someone moved their hearing after midnight." Reeves snapped the badge case shut. "Now you're accusing staff?" "I am explaining why verification matters." Porter picked up Maya's phone. The screen lit with Nia's name from a missed call. "This stays with us until we know who you are. You can know in 30 seconds. We'll decide the pace." The phone went into Porter's pocket. Nia would be smoothing her graduation robe, checking the empty seat. Garrett Holt emerged from the records corridor with beige folders. He smelled of coffee and damp paper. A shaving nick reddened his neck. His gaze ran over the red folder and away. "Mr. Holt," Porter said, "do you recognize these files?" "Court property," he said. Maya turned her head. That was not the question. "They appear to be court property removed from secure handling. They were delivered under commission authority." Reeves tapped the folder. "By you?" "Yes." "Without escort?" Because surprise reviews stop being reviews when the building is warned first. Porter's eyes narrowed at the word review. For the first time, she looked at the seal. Holt spoke quickly. "Captain, if those are from the commission, they should not be loose in the lobby. Secure them before anyone else touches them." Maya heard the shift. Not if, before anyone else. "Seal the folder in my presence," she said. "Log the time. Call Chambers." Reeves leaned forward. "You don't give orders here." A door opened upstairs. Someone asked, "Is this the housing docket?" Another voice answered, "They said wait." Jordan removed her headset. "Captain, the docket does show." "Jordan!" Porter did not raise her voice. Jordan lowered her eyes. Reeves slid the badge case across the table. It stopped short of Maya's hand. "Until we verify," he said. "Keep your hands where I can see them." Maya did. The old pen in her coat pocket pressed against her ribs. At 8:09, Naya's name lit on the phone inside Porter's pocket. No one moved toward it. The missed call glowed through the cloth of Porter's pocket, a pale square against navy fabric. Maya saw it and said nothing. Reeves noticed. "Family checking on you." "That phone should remain accessible for emergency contact." "You're not in charge of definitions today." A woman near the benches whispered, "Just call upstairs." Her husband touched her sleeve, and the whisper died. Porter stepped into the lobby. "Everyone waiting for hearings, return to the line. This matter is under control." None moved. Rain ticked against the glass doors. Wet sneakers squealed once before a mother pulled her child close. Maya lowered herself to one knee and reached for the loose papers. The marble was cold through her dress. One sheet had landed in a muddy print from Reeves's boot, its corner stuck dark against the water. "Do not touch evidence," Reeves said. "These are court files." "That's what I'm determining." She lifted the clean edge with 2 fingers. The page made a soft, tearing sound as it peeled from the wet mark. Jordan stood behind the glass. "Officer Reeves, please, if that is an emergency docket file." Porter cut her off. "Ms. Vale, you have callers waiting." "I can place one internal call while I—" Not another word. Jordan put her headset back on. A man in a work jacket raised his phone. "Put it down," Reeves said. "I'm filming the papers." "You want to join her?" The man looked at Maya, locked the screen, and lowered his arm. Maya gathered 2 pages. Her cuff scraped the floor. Reeves picked up the red folder before she could reach it. "Get up." She rose slowly. "Keep it flat." "You said that already." "And you ignored it already." The rain smell mixed with floor polish and burnt coffee. Reeves stepped closer. "You think calm sounds official?" "No." "What then?" I think damage to sealed documents is still damage when done by someone wearing a badge. Porter set her cup down, splashing brown drops onto the desk. Ms. Ellison, you are creating a disturbance. Maya looked at the coffee beside her badge case. The disturbance began when verification was refused. Holt appeared at the records corridor. His hands were empty, too clean. Captain, Judge Hale's docket is delayed. If this woman has unrelated material, removing her may be best. Maya turned just enough to see him. Mr. Holt, the continuances were entered under your initials. His mouth tightened. Reeves took that as a cue. Hands behind your back. They already are. Then don't move. The second click was louder because the whole lobby had gone quiet for it. Cold climbed from Maya's wrists into her elbows. Porter pointed toward the side corridor. Clear the lobby. Captain, Jordan said, her ID says commission. Porter did not look at her. You saw nothing you were authorized to interpret. Reeves walked Maya toward the corridor. The red folder was in his other hand, tilted downward. A white page stuck to the wet boot print near the desk, trembling each time the doors opened. Maya stopped once, forcing Reeves to stop with her. Ms. Vale, she said without turning her head, remember that page. Jordan looked down at it. Then Reeves pulled Maya through the door, and the lobby swallowed the lock behind them. The corridor smelled of copier toner and old rain. Reeves pushed the security door shut with his shoulder, cutting off the lobby's eyes. No murmurs, no phones. Only the buzz of the ceiling light and the scrape of the red folder on his sleeve. Walk, he said. Maya kept her steps even. That folder goes to Judge Thomas Hale before 8:30. Reeves snorted. Now she knows a judge's name. Porter followed with Maya's phone. Interview 2 until we verify possession of court property. At the gray door, marked Security Office, Maya stopped. Captain, open the folder. First page. There is a delivery notation. I told you to walk. The notation names Judge Hale. Porter's fingers tightened around the phone. From inside came one muffled vibration. Nia again. Maya looked at the pocket. Let me answer that call. No. It is my daughter. Then she can wait like everyone else. The words hung there, small and hard. Reeves's grip shifted on Maya's elbow. Maya turned to the red folder. Give it to Hale. Hold me here if you choose. Do not hold the docket. Porter took it from Reeves, its bent corner lifted like a warning. You keep talking as if you're negotiating. I am asking you to prevent harm. To yourself? To people upstairs who do not know why their case is not moving. In the office, Reeves placed Maya beside a metal chair. The cracked vinyl showed pale foam. Two assistants looked up from cold sandwiches. A wall clock read 8:21. Sit. Maya stayed standing. If the red folder is not delivered in 9 minutes, make a note that you refused. Reeves stared. You really want a charge. I want a record. Porter laid the folder on the counter. Not flat. One edge hung over the laminate. Maya's cuffed hands moved. Don't touch it, Reeves warned. She held still. Burnt coffee. Wet wool. Cold metal. Torn paper fiber where the corner had bent. Garrett Holt appeared with blank intake sleeves. Captain, I can secure those with records. Maya looked at him. You cannot. Record staff handles records. Not sealed review material. Porter slid the red folder toward Holt. Log it. Maya stepped toward the counter. Reeves caught the chain and the cuffs bit. The folder blurred from the sharp line across her wrist. Captain Porter, she said quietly. Look at me. Porter did. If you give that folder to him without opening the first page in my presence, you become part of what it contains. Holt's smile vanished. Porter's eyes flicked down. The office held its breath around the hum of the machine. Then Porter said, "Secure all documents." Holt gathered the red folder and loose white pages beneath it. As he turned, a cream envelope slid halfway from the stack. His left hand closed over it too quickly. Maya saw the movement. Reeves saw her see it. "What now?" he asked. "The envelope," she said. Holt paused. "There is no separate envelope." There was. Porter pointed toward the chair. "Sit her down." Reeves pulled her backward. The chair legs shrieked against tile. Maya did not fight. She watched Holt disappear into the records hall with the red folder tucked under his arm, the envelope hidden against his palm. At 8:23, the security office door swung shut between her and the files. The chair was bolted to the floor, but Reeves kicked a leg as if testing whether Maya might drag it away. "Sit." Maya sat because standing would only give him another word for the report. The room had no windows. A square vent breathed cold air over the table, and the fluorescent panel flickered with a faint insect sound. The cuffs rested in her lap, chain against bone. Porter placed Maya's purse on the desk outside the glass wall, not in reach, close enough to see. "Phone, ID, personal effects," Porter told an assistant. "Hold until cleared." "My phone is not evidence," Maya said. "It is now part of the incident." "It is part of my daughter's mourning." Reeves leaned in the doorway. "Should have thought of that before bringing stolen files." Maya looked at him until his grin thinned. "Use the word alleged if you want your report to survive the hour." The clock beyond the glass read 8:27. 3 minutes until the housing docket. 3 minutes before Judge Hale would ask why the red folder was not there. "Captain Porter," she said, "log that I requested delivery of sealed review files at 8:27. "You are not dictating my log." "Then write your own words." Porter's pen scratched once. Reeves closed the door. The latch clicked. For the first time since the lobby, Maya was alone. She lowered her hands to the cold table. Samuel's pen pressed inside her coat pocket, trapped beneath the cuff chain. She could not reach it. She could not reach Naya. She could not reach the red folder. A buzz came from the desk outside. Her phone lit through the purse opening. Naya calling. Maya stood too quickly. The cuff chain struck the table edge, a sharp silver snap. Reeves appeared at once. "Sit down." "That is my daughter." "Not my problem." "She is waiting for me at a ceremony." "Then she'll learn courts run late." Maya's mouth opened. No sound came. The phone kept vibrating. Nia's name flashed, went dark, flashed again. Beside it, a small photograph had slipped half out of Maya's wallet. Nia at 12, holding Samuel's fountain pen like a microphone. Maya stepped toward the glass. Reeves blocked the door. One more step. She stopped, fingers pressed together until the nails paled. "Officer Reeves," she said, "turn the purse so the photo is not on the floor." He glanced back. "What?" "The wallet is open. Turn it upright." Porter came behind him. "What is happening?" "She wants housekeeping." "That picture is not yours to leave face down," Maya said. For a moment, no one moved. Then one assistant with tired eyes reached towards the purse. Porter snapped, "Leave it." His hand withdrew. The phone stopped ringing. The quiet after it was worse than the buzz. Maya returned to the chair. Under the table, her thumb rubbed the cuff where metal met skin. Outside, the intercom crackled. "All parties for emergency housing relief. Courtroom 3. Please remain available." Reeves watched her through the glass. "Still think you belong upstairs?" Maya did not answer. The vent pushed colder air across the table. Maya closed her eyes for 1 second and opened them before the moisture could fall. Then she saw Garrett Holt pass the office window with the red folder under his arm. The cream envelope was no longer visible. Holt crossed the office window with the red folder pressed against his ribs. Maya rose halfway from the bolted chair. The cuff chain caught table ring and held her there. "Where is the envelope?" she called. Reeves stepped in front of the glass. "Sit down." The cream envelope was inside the folder. "You don't get to inventory stolen property." "Then inventory it yourself, in writing." Porter entered with a clipboard, her perfume mixed with toner and coffee. "Time of detention, 8:23, she said. "Subject refused lawful instructions, interfered with courthouse access, handled unsecured court documents, and became verbally confrontational." Maya's hands stilled. "That is not what happened." Reeves uncapped his pen. "You can make a statement later. Write that I asked for verification." Porter did not look up. "Subject repeatedly attempted to direct officers. Write that my ID was in your hand." Reeves pressed harder, the pen scratching through carbon paper. "You sure do like orders." "Accuracy is not an order." Outside the glass, Jordan Vale stood at her station, headset loose around her neck. She could hear enough. Not every word, but the shape of the lie. Her screen still showed the emergency housing docket, blinking delayed. Holt came out of records carrying the red folder and 3 white folders in a clear sleeve. "Logged," he said. Porter opened the door. "All documents accounted for?" "All visible documents." Maya stood again. "That was not the question." Porter turned. "Sit." Maya sat before Reeves touched her. There was a cream envelope, no label, left side, under the red folder. Holt's fingers tightened around a clipboard. "I did not receive an envelope." "You received it at 8:22. "No one noted that." Jordan's eyes moved to the wall clock. 8:31. Her stomach tightened as if the clock had become a mouth. Porter dictated. "Subject made unsupported accusation against court records personnel." Jordan reached for a yellow sticky note. The paper curled at one corner. She wrote, "Holt had envelope, 8:22, red folder." Then she paused and added, "Reeves saw." A caller crackled in her headset. "Clerk's office?" Jordan swallowed. "One moment, please." Older clerk Denise leaned close. "Don't get involved." Jordan covered the mouthpiece. "Did you see him take it?" Denise looked toward Porter's office. "I saw paper." "That is not nothing." "It can become nothing if you want to keep working here." The yellow square shook under Jordan's thumb. In the holding room, Porter set the clipboard on the table. "Sign acknowledgement of property review." Maya glanced at the page. "No. It confirms we took custody." "It confirms custody of an incomplete set." Reeves exhaled. "Captain, she's obstructing again." "No," Maya said. "I am preserving the only sentence you have not written." Porter's face hardened, but her pen stopped. Jordan heard that. She slid the sticky note under the keyboard until only a bright corner showed. Too visible. She folded it once and tucked it beneath the rubber foot of the monitor. A phone line on her console blinked green. "Third floor chambers." Denise whispered, "Jordan." Through the glass, Maya looked at her, not pleading, not commanding. Jordan pressed the line. Jordan pressed the line. The green button lit beneath her finger and blinked twice, bright as a tiny pulse in the dim clerk bay. "Chambers," a woman answered upstairs. "Hale's office." Jordan's throat caught. Through the glass, Porter had turned toward the console. "This is Jordan Vale at intake," she said. "I need to verify sealed review files for the emergency housing docket." A chair scraped on the other end. "Say that again." "Review files. Red folder." Judicial seal. A woman was detained downstairs with them. What woman? Black woman, 40s, dark coat. Name on ID was Maya Ellison. The receiver shifted. A deeper voice came on. This is Judge Hale. Who gave you that name? Her identification, Your Honor. Officer Reeves took it. Where is she now? Security office. And the red folder? Jordan looked toward records. Holt was gone. Porter was walking fast. Records has it, I think. You think? Her palm pressed the monitor. Beneath it, the hidden sticky note waited. I saw Mr. Holt take a cream envelope from the stack. It is not being logged. Another silence. Then Hale said, Do not hang up, Marcus. On the third floor, Marcus Reed stepped from courtroom 3. He was 58, broad-shouldered, with a silver mustache. 2 petitioners sat near him, coats damp. Judge Hale covered the phone. Red review folder from the State Commission. Do you know it? Marcus's face changed. Red cover, embossed seal, blue intake stripe. Yes? That is not a delivery packet. The older woman stood halfway. Judge, are we still being heard today? Hale looked at her. You will be heard. Into the phone, he said, Jordan, secure camera feeds from lobby, screening, and security office. I don't have authority. You have this instruction from me. Porter tapped the glass. End that call. Jordan did not. Who is standing with you? Hale asked. Captain Porter. Put me on speaker. Jordan pressed the button. The green light burned steady. Porter leaned close. Your Honor, intake staff should not interrupt active security review. Hale's voice filled the bay. Captain Porter, where is Ms. Ellison? Porter's mouth tightened. Pending verification. She was verified when her commission ID touched your desk. Reeves appeared behind her. Sir, she was disruptive. Officer, do not speak over my question. Is she restrained? Jordan saw Reeves glance toward security. Porter answered, temporarily. On the third floor, Marcus was already moving. Hale caught his sleeve. Take the elevator. No one leaves records. Tell IT to preserve every camera. Marcus nodded to a bailiff. Hold courtroom 3. Stay with petitioners. The hallway changed around him. Papers stopped rustling. The elevator indicator glowed at 3, then 2. Downstairs, Porter covered the speaker. Jordan, if you are wrong. Jordan touched the folded sticky note. Then we check the tape. Reeves whispered, Captain. His whisper was the first unsteady thing he had done all morning. The elevator bell rang at the far end of the lobby. Porter looked through the glass toward the marble floor, the wet boot print, and the page near the desk. The green line stayed lit while footsteps began descending from the third floor. The elevator bell rang once, and the lobby seemed to forget how to breathe. Doors slid open. Judge Thomas Hale stepped out with glasses in one hand. Marcus Reed followed, silver mustache damp from rain. Porter straightened. Your Honor, we have an active security matter. Hale did not slow. Open the holding room. Reeves came from the hallway. Sir, with respect. With respect, Officer Reeves, my instruction has 4 words. Rain ticked against the glass doors. No one on the benches spoke. Jordan stood behind intake, one finger near the green line. Porter lowered her voice. The subject was found with court property and refused instructions. Hale turned. Was the judicial review seal checked? Porter looked at Reeves. Reeves said, the label was irregular. That was not my question. It looked like, Officer? The word was quiet. Reeves stopped. Marcus typed the override code. The lock clicked, and cold air rolled out smelling of metal, toner, and coffee. Maya stood before anyone told her to. The cuffs were still on her wrists. The chain was short enough that she kept her hands close to her coat. Hale's face changed only around the eyes. Judge Ellison. The lobby heard it. A woman on the bench covered her mouth. The man in the work jacket looked down at his locked phone. Reeves stared. Judge? Maya looked at the red line across her wrist, then at Hale. Good morning, Thomas. Marcus stepped between her and Reeves. Keys. Reeves did not move. Porter snapped. Officer. The keys rattled against his belt. When he unlocked the cuffs, the sound was smaller than the silence around it. Hale asked, Do you need medical attention? No. Do you want the lobby cleared? No, not yet. Porter swallowed. Judge Hale, I was not informed. That is the point of an unannounced review. Maya turned toward intake. Where is the red folder? Holt appeared near records, holding it in a clear sleeve. His tan collar sat crooked above the mark on his neck. Here, he said. All documents logged. Maya walked toward him. People parted without being asked. Place it flat on the desk. Holt set it down. Maya opened the sleeve and lifted the cover. The bent corner rose. She scanned the first page, then the left side beneath it. The cream envelope is missing. Holt exhaled. There was no envelope. Jordan came out from behind the glass before Denise could stop her, holding a folded yellow sticky note. There was, Jordan said. I saw him take it at 8:22. Porter turned. Ms. Vale. Hale raised his hand. Let her finish. Jordan crossed the lobby. Her shoes squeaked on the wet floor. She handed the note to Maya, not Hale. Maya read it once. Thank you. Jordan looked down as if those two words weighed more than the paper. Marcus faced Holt. Records room. Now. Holt stepped back. This is inappropriate. Maya met his eyes. So was removing material from a sealed review file. The elevator doors tried to close, bumped Marcus's shoulder, and opened with a dull chime. Hale turned to Porter and Reeves. Both of you remain here. Touch nothing. Speak to no witness. Maya picked up the red folder and held it flat against her chest. Find the envelope first, she said. Then we go upstairs. The red folder lay flat on the courtroom table, its bent corner facing everyone who had ignored it. Judge Hale closed the doors himself. Marcus stood by the wall with an IT tablet. Reeves sat on the back bench, hands folded at his belt. Porter sat beside him, coffee dried on one sleeve. Maya sat at counsel table in her damp coat, Samuel's pen clipped inside her pocket. Hale set a printed sheet before her. For the record, state your name and office. Reeves shifted. Your Honor, is this necessary? It became necessary at 8:17. Maya read the black type. Honorable Maya Ellison, Supervising Judge, Georgia Judicial Review Commission. My name is Maya Ellison, she said. I serve as Supervising Judge for the Commission's Emergency Review Division. Begin playback, Hale said. The lobby appeared on the screen. Wet umbrellas, white marble, Maya at the checkpoint. Delivery entrance is around back, Reeves's recorded voice said. Reeves leaned forward. The camera doesn't show her tone. No one asked about tone. On screen, Maya lifted the badge case. Reeves took it. His thumb covered the second line. Marcus froze the frame. There, Jordan whispered. Speak clearly, Ms. Vale. His thumb is covering her title. I was inspecting it, Reeves said. Inspection requires reading, Maya said. Marcus advanced the clip. Porter took Maya's phone. Nia's name flashed before it vanished into Porter's pocket. Porter's report came next. Subject refused lawful instructions, interfered with courthouse access, and became verbally confrontational. Maya slid a blank pad toward Hale. I requested verification 6 times before detention. Noted. The records camera loaded. Holt entered with the red folder and loose pages. At the archive counter, a cream envelope slipped out. His left hand closed over it and moved behind his clipboard. Jordan's yellow sticky note sat beside the tablet, unfolded and small. "There is your unsupported accusation," Maya said. Porter rubbed her sleeve seam. "Judge Ellison, I did not see that motion. You did not look." The sentence landed softly, which made it worse. Reeves stood. "I acted on suspicion of theft." Hale faced him. "You had an official ID, a judicial seal, a Chambers line, and a clerk asking to verify. Your suspicion survived because you protected it from facts." Reeves's mouth opened, then closed. State Inspector Carla Monroe entered with a sealed evidence sleeve. "Records bin near Holt's office," she said. "Cream envelope recovered. Chain of custody begins with me." Hale removed his glasses. "Contents?" "Internal memo on continuances and manual overrides." Maya reached toward the sleeve, then stopped. "Log it first." "Already done." Porter finally spoke. "I should have called upstairs." No one answered. Reeves stared at the frozen image of his hand covering Maya's title. Hale stood. "Officer Reeves and Captain Porter are relieved from duty. Mr. Holt remains under document control investigation. Ms. Vale, you will provide a statement." Jordan nodded. "Yes, Your Honor." Maya capped Samuel's pen. "Before any statement, the housing petitioners are heard." Hale checked. 9:06. Then he opened the red folder, smoothed the bent corner, and said, "Bring them in." The cream envelope made a small sound when Inspector Monroe slid it across the courtroom table. Paper against polished wood. Still, everyone turned toward it as if it had spoken. Maya waited while Monroe opened the evidence sleeve with gloved hands. The air smelled of damp coats, projector dust, and coffee behind the bench. "Recovered from the discard bin," Monroe said, "beside Mr. Holt's office." Holt sat at the side table. "That bin is used by 3 departments." Marcus looked at him. "Only one person on camera carried this envelope." "I carried a stack." "You hid a stack behind a clipboard?" Holt's throat moved. "I was preserving order." Maya opened the memo. A coffee ring stained the upper corner. Someone had used the paper as a coaster before it became evidence. She read the first line twice. Hale asked, "Judge Ellison?" 3 emergency continuances were entered after midnight, Maya said. "All under Mr. Holt's access. All removed before petitioners arrived." Porter stared at the table. Reeves sat rigid. Hale took the memo. "Reason listed?" "Administrative congestion." Jordan, near the witness chairs, whispered, "Courtroom 3 was empty until 8. Holt turned. "Ms. Vale, you are a junior clerk." Jordan crushed her statement form. "I still know when a room is empty." A soft knock came at the door. Marcus opened it for the elderly woman. "Your Honor," she said, clutching a folded lease. "They told us to wait again." Her husband stood behind her with a cane. The rubber tip tapped once on the floor. Maya looked at the memo, then at the couple. This was what paper did when nobody respected it. It became cold chairs, missed medicine, a landlord outside a door. Hale's voice lowered. "Mrs. Avery, you will not wait again. Give us 5 minutes." The door closed. Maya placed the memo beside the red folder. "This is not only about what happened downstairs." Holt leaned forward. "This review was never authorized for a public confrontation." "No," Maya said. "You created the public confrontation. The review was authorized." Monroe slid another page from the sleeve. Prior overrides. Same initials. Same docket category. Housing. Guardianship. Emergency benefits. Porter finally looked up. How many? 14 in 6 weeks. The number sat between them. Reeves stopped rubbing his thumb over his belt. Jordan raised her hand a little. I took calls on some. People asked why hearings disappeared. We were told to say the court was overloaded. Who told you? Hale asked. Jordan looked at Holt. He gave a thin laugh. This is theater. Maya touched the coffee ring. Theater is when authority performs concern while hiding the reason people suffer. No one answered. The projector fan seemed louder. Hale stood. Inspector Monroe, secure every override log. Marcus, lock records access. Ms. Vale, preserve call notes. Holt pushed his chair back. I want counsel. You may have counsel, Hale said. You may not touch another file. Maya gathered the red folder. Its bent corner looked like the first place the truth had tried to fold. From the hall came the cane's soft tap again. Maya turned toward the door. Bring the Averys in, she said. Their case is no longer waiting behind a hidden memo. The Averys entered first, and everyone in courtroom 3 stood except Holt. Mrs. Avery held her folded lease to her chest. Her husband's cane tapped once on the floor. Judge Hale waited until they sat. Your matter will be heard today. Mrs. Avery's eyes found Maya's wrists. Red marks showed above her cuff. She looked away quickly, as if noticing them was another trespass. Maya set the red folder before Hale. The packet is complete. Hale nodded to Inspector Monroe. Read the interim actions. Monroe stood. Officer Adam Reeves is removed from duty pending review. Captain Elaine Porter is relieved of shift command. Garrett Holt's records access is suspended. Docket overrides are frozen. Reeves stood. I followed my captain's direction. Porter turned. You made the detention. You ordered it. Hale struck the desk. This is not a hallway. Ms. Vale, Hale said. Your statement. Jordan rose. At 8:22, I saw Mr. Holt take a cream envelope. At 8:31, I called Chambers. Before that, I did not act. Hale asked, Why not? Jordan's lips parted. Because everyone here knows what happens when a junior clerk becomes inconvenient. Holt laughed softly. A misunderstanding. Mrs. Avery's husband set his cane down harder. We slept in our car last Thursday because of your misunderstanding. Holt's face lost color. Hale said, Mr. Holt, wait outside with Inspector Monroe. Monroe stepped to him. Now. When the door closed, cool air moved over damp sleeves. For 20 minutes, the court became quiet work. Dates corrected, notices reviewed, an emergency stay signed. Maya spoke only when asked. At 9:48, Hale signed the order with Samuel's pen because Maya's hand was unsteady. He paused. I can use another. No, she said. He would approve. Outside, staff stood in pockets along the hallway. Reeves waited near the elevator without his radio. Porter stood by the wall, command badge in one hand. Maya stepped out with the red folder under her arm. Judge Ellison, Porter said. Maya stopped. I should have verified. Yes. I saw the ID. Yes. Porter looked at the floor. I saw the phone. Maya's face did not change. My daughter saw the empty seat. The elevator opened. Nia rushed out in a blue graduation robe, rain shining in her hair. Mom? Maya forgot the hallway. Nia! Nia crossed fast, then slowed when she saw the officials, the folder, the coat. Why didn't you answer? Maya lifted her hand, then stopped. Nia saw the red lines. She touched the sleeve and gently pushed the fabric back. Who did this? No one answered. Reeves looked at the elevator buttons. Porter closed her hand around the badge until her knuckles paled. Maya covered Nia's fingers with her own. A door closed longer than it should have. Nia looked past her at the people in uniform. And everybody watched? Jordan stepped from the doorway. Not everybody, but too many of us waited. Nia drew Maya's sleeve down, not to hide the marks, but to warm them. Inspector Monroe returned from records with a sealed box. "Judge Ellison, I need your signature." Maya took Samuel's pen back from Hale. Nia stayed shoulder to shoulder while Maya signed the chain of custody form. The ink dried slowly under the hallway lights. The ink on the chain of custody form was wet when Maya placed the red folder in the center of the conference table. No one reached for it. The room above the lobby smelled of rain-dried wool, copier heat, and lemon cleaner. Through the glass wall, the marble floor looked smaller than it had that morning. A gray mark remained where the wet page had stuck. Judge Hale stood at the head of the table. Inspector Monroe opened a recorder. Marcus folded his hands. Jordan sat near the end, her note sealed in plastic. Porter and Reeves were not invited. Hale said, "We can begin with findings." "No," Maya said. Monroe looked up. "Judge Ellison, if we start with punishment, the building learns only how to survive punishment." Marcus nodded. "Then where do we start?" Maya tapped the folder. "With the first moment when truth had a door and no one opened it." Jordan's eyes lowered. "The phone." The phone, the ID, the seal, the witness who thought permission was required to tell the truth. Jordan touched the plastic sleeve. "I waited. You called. Too late. Late is not nothing. The next rule begins there." Hale pulled a legal pad closer. "Independent verification line? Not controlled by security. Anyone may request confirmation of a court seal. The call logs automatically," Monroe wrote. "Second, camera preservation at the first dispute over documents. No supervisor override." Marcus said, "Security will object." Security pushed a judge into a locked room today. The vent hummed. Hale removed his glasses. "Point taken." Maya opened the red folder. The bent corner lifted. She pressed it flat with Samuel's pen. "Third, one confirmation call before property is withheld unless there is a real safety issue, not convenience, not pride." Jordan whispered, "Her daughter called." Maya kept her hand on the page. "Yes." The recorder's tiny wheel turned. Monroe cleared her throat. "Training?" "Quarterly. Public-facing. Scenario-based. The subject is not politeness. It is authority under pressure." Marcus leaned forward. "Records access?" "Two-person handling for sealed review material. No one removes envelopes or memos without a second signature." Hale wrote faster. "Docket overrides?" "Frozen until inspected. Emergency continuances require judicial confirmation, petitioner notice, and a reason the person affected can read." Jordan raised her hand, then pulled it back. "Speak," Maya said. "What about retaliation?" "Against witnesses?" Monroe asked. "Against clerks. Against anyone who calls." Hale answered before Maya could. "Anonymous reporting to the commission. No local supervisor may close it alone." Jordan breathed out, a small broken sound. Maya slid the red folder toward her. "This is not a trophy. It is a reminder that paper is sometimes the only voice someone gets before a door closes." Marcus looked through the glass. "Post the rights at the entrance?" "Plain language, large enough for tired people to read." Hale stood. "Then we adopt interim rules today." Monroe stopped the recorder. "Effective when?" Maya signed the page with Samuel's pen. "Before the next person walks through those doors," she said. Below them, a maintenance worker carried a brass sign toward the lobby wall. 3 months later, the new brass sign caught the morning light before Maya reached the courthouse doors. Visitor rights and document verification. The words were plain, large enough for tired eyes. Beneath them, anyone carrying official court materials could request an immediate verification call, and any staff member could preserve camera footage without asking a supervisor first. Maya stood with Nia under the awning. Winter rain tapped the glass. Nia read the sign twice. They really put it here. They had to. No, they chose to after you made them look. Maya touched the red folder in her bag. Its bent corner had been repaired with clear tape, but the crease still showed in the light. Inside, the lobby was quieter than she remembered. A new officer at screening looked up. "Good morning, Judge Ellison. Would you like me to call Chambers?" "Yes," Maya said. "And thank you for asking." The officer made the call in front of her. Jordan Vale, now wearing a blue lanyard marked Review Liaison, came from intake with no hesitation in her steps. "First public training starts in 15 minutes, Jordan said. "Marcus says every camera feed is backed up twice." Nia smiled. "She sounds proud." Jordan flushed. "I'm trying not to." "Don't try too hard," Maya said. Across the lobby, Mrs. Avery sat beside her husband near the help desk. He no longer held eviction papers. He held repaired rent receipts. Mrs. Avery lifted 2 fingers in a small wave. Maya returned it. Reeves had been removed from courthouse duty and placed under state review before any future public security post. Captain Porter had lost command authority and accepted reassignment to records compliance training. Garrett Holt had resigned before the commission's final vote. The public report referred his docket overrides to the state inspector and barred him from court records access. No speech had fixed the damage, but names were restored to calendars. Emergency cases no longer disappeared behind administrative congestion. Clerks could file protected reports directly to the commission. At 10 o'clock, Maya entered the training room. Officers, clerks, bailiffs, and supervisors sat in rows. Marcus leaned against the wall. Inspector Monroe placed the public report on the front table beside the red folder. Jordan read the first scenario aloud. "A visitor arrives without an escort, but carries sealed documents." A young officer raised his hand. "We verify before we assume." Maya looked at the red folder. For 1 second, she heard the old metallic click against marble. Then the room door opened softly. Porter stood outside, no command badge, hair less severe. "Judge Ellison," she said. "I was assigned to observe." Maya nodded once. "Take a seat." Porter sat in the last row. She opened a notebook. Her first line was slow and careful. After the session, Nia found Maya by the marble wall where the papers had fallen. The wet boot print was gone. The wall had been polished until it reflected the sign across the lobby. "You okay?" Nia asked. Maya looked at her daughter, then at the spot where her purse had once sat open with the photograph face down. "I didn't lose the seat," she said. Nia took Samuel's old pen from Maya's pocket and clipped it to the red folder. "No, you saved more than one." They walked out together. Behind them, the new sign glowed on the marble floor. If this story stayed with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever seen someone dismissed, delayed, or treated like they did not belong until the truth finally came out? Tell us what happened and what you wish someone in the room had done sooner. Share this story with someone who believes dignity should never depend on a title, a uniform, or the assumptions people make at a door. And subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the kind of systemic change that begins when one person refuses to let the record stay wrong for the next person.